Alrighty, folks, welcome to my college football week 4 video here today. Of course, if you want to see which 3 games on the slate this week that I actually like the best in college football, you may want to think about signing up for my college football tier membership on my premium page. I gave out 3 of my best college football plays for week 4. That post is already posted and ready for access. Of course, you got to sign up for that membership to take a look at that. And just a friendly reminder, if you do sign up for my college football membership, you're going to get access to that package every single day for the next 30 days. Of course, as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships during that time frame, absolutely free, going to be included with your membership. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick time out and introduce myself. My name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks on YouTube since 2016. And once again, if you want to access all of my premium selections, all the games I like the best each and every day for the next 30 days, you may want to think about signing up for my full access, all-inclusive Gold Club membership. Of course, coming off a great week in the NFL, we went 3-0 in our 3 NFL premium plays, NFL tier package plays on the premium page for week 2. So a lot of good stuff happening in football. You're definitely going to want to think about joining on the premium page. But anyway, with that, let's go ahead and dive right into some free content. We're actually going to start off with Bowling Green taking on Louisville. That's going to be a 12 o'clock Eastern kickoff. Louisville's minus 26.5, totals 53. And we do have 2 tough defenses squaring off in this one. I know it's Bowling Green, but I don't think it's your grandfather's Bowling Green. This program is starting to look like maybe they're making some changes here. The Falcons are allowing just 18 points a game, and they've actually been pretty strong against the run. BG is limiting opposing rushers to just 101 yards a game on the ground. Dorian Pringle leads that defense in tackles, also has a couple of forced fumbles, as well as an interception. Meanwhile, Lamprin and Pascal have 42 tackles between the both of them, and they're facing a Louisville squad who's allowing just 15 points a game themselves. They're actually holding opposing offenses to just 3.1 yards per play. That's nearly best in college football. And I'll tell you what, this Louisville secondary has been tough to throw the football against. They're allowing just 106 yards a game through the air. Clev Lubin with 14 tackles, 3.5 sacks. Quinton Bailey with 24 tackles between the both of them. Of course, I think you see where we're going with this one. Total-wise, Bowling Green with unders in 2 out of their last 3 to start the year. I like the under 53. Next game, Maryland, Wisconsin, 12 o'clock East. Wisconsin's minus 9.5, totals 45. And I think a lot of folks will be down on the Badgers after their week 3 loss to Bama. That was a tough spot for them. Bama's got to be perfect from here on out, and they were close to it in that matchup. But I do like the Badgers at home in the spot here this week against Maryland. They've beaten the Terps in their last 4 head-to-head meetings. They're still tough against the run this year. The Badgers are allowing just 46 yards a game on the ground. Christian Allegro leads the defense in tackles. He's got a pair of sacks with regard to the pass rush. And Preston Zachman, handful of tackles and a pair of interceptions himself. Of course, they're taking on a Maryland squad who's beaten up on the likes of Towson, Northern Illinois, and Florida Atlantic. And they actually failed to cover in 2 of those games I just mentioned. Of course, on the offensive side of things, the Terps are in the bottom 25 in the country in rushing yards per game, not focused on running the football. They like to sling it. I guess, one-dimensional attack could be a bit of an issue for them in this one. Of course, Maryland with unders in 2 of 3 to start the year. I like Wisconsin minus 9.5, under 45. All right, next matchup, North Texas taking on Army. That's going to be a 12 o'clock Eastern start. Army's minus 1.5, totals 51. And I think a lot of bettors probably have that Tarleton loss in the back of their minds for Army. Wouldn't be surprised if this line potentially flipped by Saturday. But having said that, the Black Knights, as usual, are running the ball well through a couple of games. That's all they do is run. They just run. Dominating in offensive time of possession, of course. Noah Short's averaging 5 yards a rush. Cale Helms with 161 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. And I'll tell you what, the Black Knights have also beaten North Texas in 6 out of their last 8 meetings. So if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. It's been all Army. I do like the Black Knights at home here. It's a bit undesirable for teams to prepare for this run-heavy offense in week 4 of your season. So I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Army -1.5, under 51. Next matchup, SMU, TCU, 12 o'clock East. TCU's -6.5, total 64. Now the Horned Frogs are allowing just 17 points a game. Jamel Johnson leads the defense in tackles. Of course, Bud Clark with a handful of tackles himself, along with a pick 6. And they're facing an SMU squad who saw unders in 2 of 3 contests this season, doing a nice job slowing down the run. Isaiah Wacobia with 21 tackles and a pick. Cam Robertson with 15 tackles, couple of sacks, couple of forced fumbles. Once again, the Mustangs saw 2 of 3 this year stay under the total. Pretty big number in this spot here. I like the under 64. All right, next contest, Syracuse, Clemson, 12 o'clock East. Clemson's -17, totals 56. And the Tigers got to be perfect from here on out. 2 early losses this year, although they've defended the run pretty well. Clemson's giving up just 19 points a game, and they've been pretty dominant over Syracuse over the past decade or so. Ronan Hannafin leads the defense in tackles. He's got an interception and a forced fumble. Avion Terrell with 16 tackles and a couple forced fumbles himself. And they're facing a pass-heavy Syracuse team who's been rather one-dimensional. The Orange is currently a bottom 15 rushing school at the moment. And through 3 games already, well, Syracuse failed to cover the number twice. Now, total-wise, Clemson with unders in all 3 of their contests this season. I do look for the public to fade them in this spot, and I think they're going to come out pretty sharp on defense. Give me Clemson -17, under 56. All right, next ball game, Texas Tech taking on Utah, 12 o'clock East. Utah's -3.5, totals 57 and a hook. Both schools are 3-0 to start the year. Both teams scoring a whole lot of points. The Utes are averaging 46 points a game. Texas Tech leading the country in points per contest themselves. Baron Morton's thrown for nearly 1,000 yards already for the Red Raiders. 11 touchdowns compared to just 1 interception. Of course, wideouts Aiken and Carter have over 400 yards between the both of them and 6 touchdown grabs. Meanwhile, the Utes on the other side, well, they like to ground and pound it. They're running for nearly 300 yards a game on the ground. Macquarie Rogers is averaging 4.2 yards a carry, along with a handful of scores. Wayshawn Parker's averaging 7.1 yards per touch himself. Of course, total-wise, both schools with overs in 2 of 3 to start the year, respectively. I like the over 57.5. UNLV, Miami, Ohio, 12 o'clock East. The Rebels are -3, totals 49.5. UNLV's 3-0 to start the year. They've got a stud in Amaris Brown, who's been raising havoc from the secondary. The D-backs got 17 tackles, pair of sacks, 3 interceptions, including a pick 6. And Jake Pope is leading this Rebel defense in tackles, and they're facing a Miami squad who's having a tough time moving the football. The Red Hawks are averaging just 8 points a game, bottom 10 in rushing. When it comes to the total, UNLV's last 2 games both stayed under the number. I like UNLV -3, under 49.5. Next contest, UAB, Tennessee, 12:45 East. The Vols are -39.5, total 69. Now, the Volunteers coming off a tough loss to Georgia over the weekend. That's a game they pretty much had won, and special teams miscues really cost them in that one. But we are looking at a Tennessee offense who's been absolutely dynamic. 53 points a game they're averaging. Top 10 in passing yards, really tore up that Georgia defense over the weekend. Joey Aguilar has thrown for over 900 yards and 9 touchdowns. Chris Brazel over 121 yards a game receiving and 5 scores. And they're facing a UAB squad who gave up 28 points to Akron last week, really having problems on the defensive side of the football. They're allowing nearly 7.1 yards per play from scrimmage, bottom 10 rushing defense. Of course, total-wise, both schools with overs in all 3 of their games, respectively. I really hope the Vols come out pissed off, and they should. Give me Tennessee minus 39.5, over 69. Next matchup, Oregon State taking on Oregon, 3 o'clock Eastern kick. Oregon's minus 35, total is 55. The Ducks are 3-0 on the year, beating up on a bunch of cupcakes, but realistically, Oregon State, it looks like they're no different than that level of competition they've been facing. The Ducks are averaging 54 points a game, top 3 in yards per play. Of course, they're facing an 0-3 Oregon State squad who's in the bottom 10 in points allowed on defense. They're actually allowing over 6.7 yards per play. When it comes to the total, both schools saw 2 of 3 get over the number to start the year. I've got no reason to back the Beavs here. Give me Oregon minus 35, over 55. All right, next game, Auburn taking on Oklahoma. That's going to be a 3:30 Eastern kickoff. OU is minus 7, totals 48. Of course, both programs 3-0 to start the year. Very good defensively for both teams. The Sooners allowed just 6 points a game, 3.4 yards per play on defense. Meanwhile, Auburn's got a top 10 rushing defense. And when it comes to the total, the Tigers saw 2 of 3 stay under the total. Sooners with unders in all 3 of their contests. I like the under 48. All right, Michigan, Nebraska, 3:30 East. Michigan's minus 3, totals 46. The Wolverines are allowing just 14 points a game, top 25 rushing defense. Ernest Hausman's the team leader in tackles. Sullivan and Barham with a pair of sacks each. And they're facing a tough Nebraska defense who allows just 8 points a game themselves, leading the nation in passing defense. As a matter of fact, the Cornhuskers are holding their competition to just 66 yards a game through the air. Guthrie and Singleton with a dozen tackles apiece. Andrew Marshall with double-digit tackles as well. I like the under 46. North Carolina, UCF, 3:30 Eastern start. UCF's minus 7, totals 47.5. Of course, both defenses performed well over the past couple of weeks. UCF's giving up just 8 points a game, top 3 passing defense. Meanwhile, North Carolina, they've allowed just 9 total points in their last 2 games. Certainly a stark contrast from their season opener against TCU. Of course, both schools with unders in 2 out of 3 contests this year, respectively. I like the under 47.5. All right, next matchup, Purdue, Notre Dame, 3:30 Eastern start. Notre Dame's minus 25, totals 54.5. And I think a lot of folks are going to be fading the Irish after their 0-2 start. They had a bit of a grinder to start the year. They faced Miami and Texas A&M to start the season. And folks, a lot of people were down on Notre Dame, but listen, they lost by a combined total of 4 points in those 2 defeats. Those are top-tier programs, man, and these guys are right in it. Once again, 2 losses, 4 combined total points. And listen, the offense moved it pretty well in those games. Notre Dame is averaging 32 points per contest against some top teams. And they're facing a Purdue squad who's coming fresh off a double-digit loss to USC. They actually gave up 33 points in that loss. And I think the Irish get back on track. They have no choice. They got to come out and pound these guys. They got to be perfect from here on out and leave no doubt. Give me Notre Dame minus 25, over 54.5. All right, next matchup, Toledo taking on Western Michigan. Little match-in here, 3:30 Eastern start. Toledo's minus 14, totals 50.5. Of course, the Rockets are 2-1 to start the year, covered the point spread in all three of those games, currently perfect against the number. When it comes to offensive production, the Rockets are averaging 40 points a game, over 205 yards per contest on the ground. They're taking on a Western Michigan squad who's in the bottom 25 in points allowed, 109th in rushing defense. Of course, as a team, the Broncos are 0-3 to start the year. When it comes to the total, Toledo's last two games both got over the number. I like the Rockets of Toledo minus 14, over 50.5. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. If there's any games I missed, there's a good chance they're going to be on my premium page. If I didn't cover a game or if I just gave a total and not a side, there might be a chance you could find that on the premium site come Saturday. But anyway, next and final breakdown, Troy taking on Buffalo, 3:30 Eastern start. Buffalo's minus 5.5, totals 42. The Bulls scored a bunch of points over the past few weeks, gaining nearly 200 yards a game on the ground. Meanwhile, Troy lost their last two straight themselves, allowing 5.6 yards per play. I like Buffalo minus 5.5, over 42. With that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium page. But most importantly, folks, gotta thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, folks, happy Wednesday to you. This is I'm recording this on Wednesday. You're probably watching it on Saturday, but happy Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium page.